Welcome to this video where we'll show a simple MQTT connection to a Hive broker using the Blue Open Studio MQTT driver. First thing that we're showing here is I've created a Hive MQ cloud account. Within the account, I've created a cluster. When you create a cluster, you will get a unique URL like you see here. Okay. So within the management of the cluster, so if I go to the management of the cluster, you'll see the one thing to look at here is you have this tab here called Access Management. And within here, in this Access Management, you are controlling the users who can publish and or subscribe based on the permissions that you give them. Okay, so for your Blue Open Studio project, you will need to know the username and password for a given user for the Blue Open Studio driver to connect to this cluster. And you also need to know, obviously, this URL. Okay, so if we go into Blue Open Studio, so you can see I've created a project already. And if we look at the first thing you're going to look at is we're going to look at I've already added an MQTT driver. I'm just using for now just making a real simple project. I'm going to go to the settings for the driver. The first thing we want to look at is for the authentication. What we do here is we take the URL that we know from our, let me call it up, from our cluster, and we append the SSL : / the broker URL with the Hive MQ, etc., and then we put : 8883 at the end for the port number, and then for the username we are using one of the usernames that I've created in the password for that user. Okay. Under certificates, what we do is, again, we enter in that URL, and as long as we can make a connection, we should be able to get the certificates. So what I'll do to illustrate that is I'll remove this. Okay. I'll just back all the way out. Okay, back to here. Here's my cluster URL, so I'm just simply going to copy that to the clipboard. Go back to here. Go into the settings. Go to certificates. Add new certificates. Okay. It's TLS 1.2. Okay. And as long as everything is okay, if it validates okay, it will basically not give you any errors, is what it amounts to. So this took it okay. Then these certificates are stored in your project. So that's all we have to do in the settings for the driver. Okay. So then if we look at the driver sheets, you could see that I've already created. So I have two strings and an integer as far as my tag. So this is the data that I'm going to be either reading or writing to, basically publishing or subscribing to from the MQTT broker. You can see again I'm appending the SSL and the 8083 to the end of that URL. And then the IO address is the topic that you are either publishing or subscribing to. Okay. Okay, so now what we'll do is we're back in our cluster. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go to the web client. Okay, and I'm going to use the same connection client. I'm going to connect. And you can see I've already subscribed to those topics. I have a BOS and a BOS2. Okay, and you can see I can also publish. If I go back to the driver sheet, you'll see I am subscribing to this BOS2 topic here. So what I'll do is, okay, so I'm going to make a note of that. Okay. So I'm just going to go in here, I'm going to enter BOS2 and and I'll just publish something. Okay. Yeah, go back here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the project. And what you'll see is immediately what will happen is it will try to subscribe, but because there's no new data there, it will complain. So we'll look at that in the watch window. Okay. So you can see it's complaining about that, about the read. So it's trying to subscribe to this boss 2. So what I'm going to do is back in my client, I'm just going to publish new string to boss 2. It's published. Now when I go back, you'll see over here in the watch window, I've got new string and all is okay. And if I want to send something, so under the boss topic, I'm going to say something like this is boss. Okay, you can see and it published to the topic. Okay, and then you can see in my web client, you can see here's the message. Okay, so just a small, simple, there's a lot, obviously there's a lot more things that you can do, etc. With this driver. This is just a small, simple video just to kind of get through the basics. And this is kind of just, hopefully this can give you a good kickstart, and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.